Actually, quite interesting enough, I've saved a lot of money by So this first one is Carmilla, and I got this is probably like a $5 copy. If I like it, I will get a nicer copy, but I figured this would be a really good way for me to use this copy to kind of take notes in and annotate really well. This Carmilla by J. Sheridan LaFonu in 1872. This is a story that supposedly was the inspiration for Dracula. And this is a female vampire also. So I'm also interested in how females are represented in Victorian and medieval literature. I'm trying to hone in on Victorian right now since there's more of it. But yeah, this one is going to be a really quick read also. This copy only has 83 pages. I know there's a nicer copy out there that I might get if I end up liking this. But like I said, I'm going to be marking the crap out of this. So yeah, Carmilla. And this one goes in it also. Some of these you've seen me open. This is a beast, but this is a good book. This is one that's gonna sit on my shelf, but I'm also gonna read. So this is classic ghost stories, and it's just gorgeous binding. This was my Valentine's Day present to myself. So there's featuring stories by Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Dickens, J. Sheridan LaFonu, like who wrote Carmilla, but Carmilla's not in here. Arthur Conan Doyle, Algernon Blackwood, M.R. James, Edith Wharton, William Hope Hodgson, and others. Like they have Henry James in here. They have like The Turn of the Screw. They have Rudyard Kipling's The Phantom Rickshaw. So, and yeah, I haven't really cracked the binding yet. So, this book, by the way, I wish you could smell it. Only some people understand that it smells amazing. This is from Barnes & Noble. See, because I still have to wear it in. That's delicious binding crack and pages. Because these pages are silver. Oh, I feel like that's like popping your back or cracking knuckles for some people. I love to do this with books like this. Okay. And I've already